Hello and welcome to Coffee Talk, Justine. How are you feeling?
Feeling good. The weekend's finally here. And I'm
Yes.
finally back in LA after like 3 weeks of travel, so very excited to be back home.
Oh my God, this is great. I'm so excited that you agreed to do this. For our audio listeners, grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, grab a martini. I have today a cup of tea with some whiskey. I've made a hot toddy for myself, obviously, because I just simply can't get away. And Justine, what are you drinking right now?
I'm drinking a can of Spindrift, and I also have my giant water bottle with water.
Hydration. Hydration
Yeah,
is important.
yeah. I mean, people have seen me drink a shit ton of other stuff, but I don't know. Maybe it surprises some people after seeing those, but my favorite beverage is actually water. I'll drink like 2 bottles of this every day. Yeah.
Oh my God. So, for those of you who don't know, Justine is none other than the New York City drunk marathoner who I have called the People's Prosecco Princess. Me and Justine became connected through the internet because the internet is a really wild but can be a really amazing place. And for those of you who don't know, I posted a video after the New York City Marathon because I love the New York City Marathon. It's the greatest day of the year. And I was like, to the girl who was running the New York City Marathon, who came over and like swigged some Prosecco, like, I want to see the video you took. And then that video kind of spread like wildfire. And then all of a sudden, the next morning, I woke up and I was tagged in Justine's videos of her running the marathon drunk so many times. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, she's been found. And it just kind of turned into this like phenomenon. And you completely blew up. You were all over TikTok and all over the internet for that entire week.
Yeah. I mean, it was so crazy because first of all, I didn't use TikTok that much. So I only started really using it maybe a month ago before the Chicago Marathon because I was like, oh, let me get on TikTok so I can watch some videos of like marathon tips. And
Mhm.
then and then I started using TikTok, and I think the marathons what like made me so happy. It was so much fun that I just wanted to post a video like for my friends, right?
Mhm.
And then right after I posted that video of me running and like taking a lot of shots, I think it was like within 5 minutes. It was wild. It was the night of the marathon. I posted a video, and some random girl started following me and tagged me in a comment saying found her. And I was like, what is this? Like, she must have found the wrong person. But then I click into the video and it was yours. And I was like, holy shit, someone's looking for me. And then immediately after that, I posted my point of view, not thinking it would be anything. I was just like, oh, this is so fun. And then I went to sleep. And then the next day, my friends actually woke up first. I was staying with my friends in New York, because I don't live there, right? And my friends woke up first, and she was telling me she wanted to scream so bad because she was looking at my account like blow up, but I was still dead asleep. And then, yeah, it wasn't until I woke up, and yeah, it was just crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my brother usually, he's 3 years older than me and he cringes at like literally everything that I do, everything that I post. He's just like, oh my God, like you popped up on my For You page the other day. It's like, oh, that's gross. Like you say the craziest things. And he called me and he was like, what's up? I was like, what do you mean, what's up? He was like, you're everywhere. Your girl is everywhere.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was like, what are we talking about? And he was like, the Prosecco that you and mom handed out. I was like, oh my God. So it
Oh
was
my
spreading
God.
like crazy. I still get tagged in things when you get featured somewhere. Somebody's like, is this
Yeah.
your girl? I'm like, she's not my girl, guys. Like, she's her own girl. Like, we just happen to have a really internet
Yeah.
big internet moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny too because I think like a week or two after this all happened, I still get tagged in your video saying like found her. And I'm like, I've been found. I've been found for 2 weeks, guys.
I've been found. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I've been found. No,
Yeah.
it's honestly it was so fun. I mean I love the New York City Marathon because
Yeah.
it's like it's such good energy. And
Mhm.
people, I don't know if people know this, but you and I and your friends and a few of my friends went out because
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, you guys are going to become friends. And we were like, we are going to become friends.
Are. Yeah.
And we had such a good time. And I
Yeah.
just remember thinking, like, this is kind of like exactly what it's supposed to be about. And it's like a very New York thing. But
Yeah.
just, I always say, like, your vibe attracts your tribe. And
Hmm.
the fact that, like, I met your friends and I was like, oh my God, I love these people. Me and
Yeah, I
me
love
and
my
Bianca,
friends.
like, left that night out and we were like, they were so much fun.
No,
It,
you guys were so much fun too. Yeah. It
it was
was,
amazing.
yeah, it was just so much fun. Like even especially after when you were down to like get food with us, like we're like, oh my
I
God,
just
this
like
girl
love
belongs with
cats.
us.
We were supposed to go to Joy Face and we didn't make it there. We were like, yeah, we're gonna go to Joy Face. For those of you listening, like Joy Face is like a place to go. It's like a bar slash club on the Lower East Side in the East Village that plays like disco 70s music. And we were like, yeah, let's go. We were so down. We get into Katz Deli, which is on Houston, and we were like, we could go for some food. And I don't really remember much when we were sitting down. I feel like we were like talking, we were talking to these guys, and I feel like I was blowing smoke up their ass. Like we were all fucking with them. It was great. It was amazing. And then when we were like fed, we were like, okay, time to sleep.
Yeah.
Bodies are
Yeah.
ready to sleep.
Yeah, the perfect night.
It was the perfect night. So you've been featured so far, like from the entire story of you being drunk, running 26.2 miles. You've been featured on things on like press like NPR,
NPR.
People, Yahoo, Daily Mail, Barstool.
Oh, I have not seen those. But yeah, I did the
Yeah, you're
um
featured on them. It's crazy. I
oh
think it's
wow.
funny to like Google your name. I was like drunk, not even I didn't even Google your name actually. I Googled drunk NYC marathoner.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
What does that feel like? Have you been feeling like you're receiving a lot of that like attention? How does that
I
feel from your end?
I think a little bit, especially the first 2 weeks. Because everywhere I went, like especially work. It was funny because I went into work the next morning, like the Monday after the marathon. I didn't take it off, right? I went to work and I was thinking, oh, like this insane thing just happened to me, but no one at work knows. It's so funny. And then right when I log on, there's like 5 or 6 people who messaged me. They're like, you showed up on my For You page. And then when I came back to LA, yeah, everyone who like in the office also start coming up and talking to me about it. And I think overall it's been really cool. Because I think especially reading or hearing a lot of the responses that I've been getting, a lot of the comments have been really positive, which like at first I was a little bit scared because like the internet's crazy. But because the comments have been so positive, it makes me feel good and it makes me think that okay, maybe at least this is doing some positive impact or give yeah, it's like positively impacting some other people in the world, you know? So it's been pretty crazy, but I think I've been really enjoying it because of that and yeah, a little bit overwhelming at times for sure because I'm not very used to honestly like posting to the public. Like
Mhm.
that's also why like, for example, my Strava and my Instagram are private because I usually like to keep things to like people I know or like my friends. And so I know a lot of people have been like requesting to follow me on like Instagram and Strava, but yeah, I think for now I'm still gonna keep them private for
Yeah,
yeah, my own piece. Yeah.
yeah. Oh no, I think that that's like protect your peace always. And TikTok could be like the fun place. We talked about it that night. Like TikTok could be the place where you post like the all the
Yeah,
crazy parts.
exactly.
I loved that you collaborated with Katie Mack.
Yeah, Kate
I
Max, yeah,
Oh,
she's
oh my God, I thought that was so cool. She ended up like messaging me. I'm like,
yeah.
oh my God, she's so sweet. I love her content. And I was just like, wow, like this is so great. I also thought that it was such a great concept of you guys running and getting food and like going.
Uh-huh, yeah. Yeah, her idea. Yeah, it was so fun.
It
Yeah.
was a great video. I think that you've really like You've also taken the pressure off for a lot of people that have been thinking about marathoning, but they're like, oh my God, do
Mhm.
I need to be this really intense person? Like,
Yeah.
because I think it's a scary concept when you think about the distance. Like
Oh
26.2
yeah, for
miles
sure.
is a long way to go. Um, but seeing you like have such a carefree approach to that,
Yeah.
I think has really helped people warm up to the idea of
Yeah.
like, I could do a marathon, like
Yeah.
for sure. Have you
Yeah.
gotten a lot of people saying that to you?
Yeah, a lot of people, like my friends, some of my friends even messaged me saying, "Oh, I'm gonna start running because of you." And that just makes me so happy because running has done so much for me. It's like helped me grow in ways I never thought I could, like help me feel confident and strong. And so I know running is a good thing, and even throughout the past like year or two, I've been trying to like get my friends into running,
Mhm.
and I think I have succeeded in a way, but like when I try to convince them to start running, or um I just I try to like run with them and show them that, oh, not every run has to be fast. You can like be chatting with your friends while you're running. You can be like hanging out and just like chilling or being outside, you know? And so I think this was just on a much bigger scale, which made me really happy. Being able to show people how fun it like really can be. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm somebody who I recently just lost 25 pounds, and it's the first time in my life where I feel like I've done it in a really like healthy, empowering way. Like I feel like I'm having a really fun time like
Yeah, I
learning
love
my
that.
body.
Yeah.
And the thing that always kind of took me away, or I wouldn't say took me away from like, you know, trying to in like trying to implement different lifestyle changes. The thing that always took me away was when I would look to somebody to get inspired by them, they always made it sound so like life or death
Hmm, hmm.
to switch what you
Yeah.
like. I would listen to influencers or fitness, content creators, and they would always say things like um you have to like say no when your friends want to go out to dinner, and like there's no reason to drink, like there's nothing. And I'm like, so I can't drink, I can't go out, I can't go to dinner, all for the sake of like having a
Yeah.
body. What the hell am I having a cute body for? I want to go
Yeah.
out, shake my ass. Like I want to go and show it off. And
Yeah.
that to me, I was like, there has to be another way. Like I can lose weight or just feel like go get healthier without feeling like I have to be miserable or
Oh
cheat
yeah.
my life in a way that might not be conducive to me, I guess. So I was um I was like, okay, I think now that I've like lost weight or just gotten into the routine of like working out in a really effective way, after like hanging out with you and your friends, I'm like, I'm definitely considering a marathon.
You can do it. Like we talked about it, right? Yeah, we're gonna when you are ready for it, let's run it together.
I definitely would
Yeah.
love to. Like, I think that it would just be so great. And I love the runner's high. Like, I love
Yeah.
running. Um, I hate running on a treadmill though. Like, what
Uh-huh.
is your view of running outside versus a treadmill? Like, what do you see are like the big differences? Because marathon runners or regular runners, you guys don't like treadmills either, right?
Well, I definitely I think depends on the person, but I definitely enjoy running outside more.
Mhm.
It I think running outdoors helps keep my mind occupied in a way, because I think it's really funny because I've used like the analogy of when I'm running outdoors, I feel like I'm a dog on a walk, because I like I think I just like looking at the views outside, and my mind's always thinking like, oh, like this uh this park is really pretty, or like this tree is really pretty, or
Mhm.
like what am I gonna see next, right? So it just feels like I think the curiosity of being able to find things and look for things outside really helps me enjoy the run more. And being able to see where you're going instead of like being on a treadmill the whole time and you're basically running in place, running like yeah, not going anywhere. But I would say like treadmill is also very good, I think, for especially for I think runners who are serious, right? Because you're able to set the time that you want and you're able to see the time on the screen. So it's really good for let's say you're trying to do sprints or you're trying to run intervals. It's just a more I think set like where like a place you can run that is more like standardized.
Mhm.
Um so I think that's really good, but I don't think I could do like more than like 5 or 6 miles on
On
a
a
treadmill,
treadmill.
you know.
I
Yeah.
I feel like when I go run outside versus when I run on a treadmill, I feel like I will be I'm wondering, I'm like, do I run faster outside because I feel like I get winded easier? But
Mhm.
then on treadmills, I'm like, I feel like I've been running for 12,000 years and it says 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that gets me where I'm like, I'm running on the treadmill and I'm like, it's only been 30 seconds. This is
Yeah.
insane. But if I'm running outside, I feel like I'm working harder and I have to remind myself, like, you can slow down, you could chill.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally relate to like having more to look at.
Yeah.
Am I'm like the dog in Up where they're like squirrel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I walk my dogs, even now, like I'm very like observant like that too. I'm like, oh my God, I love this tree. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I like take pictures of trees when I'm walking. I'm like,
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
oh. But
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Do you
Mhm.
have any like what's your best advice for like somebody that wants to try running?
I think just take it slow because I think a lot of people, when it comes to running, they're intimidated or scared. And especially, like, I felt this too, actually, because I actually grew up running, but I grew up as like running as a sprinter. So everything I ran, like all the races, all the runs I did, they were like fast, and I felt like I had to push it. So, which is why before, I think my mindset was in that like sprinter mindset. Um, I was like, every run that I do has to be super fast. So how the hell do people run like more than 5 miles
Mhm.
like that? So I thought it was impossible, right? But I think once I started like not caring about speed or time and taking it slow, it was a lot more. It wasn't just like a lot more enjoyable, but it was just a lot more doable. Like you can see that, oh, if you take your time, if you're like patient, you can hit the distance. And if you slowly build up, like you'll get faster and stronger. So it's basically, I think the key really is like consistency and patience because you can't go all out for every run that you do and like your body also needs time to get used to it, right? So as long as you take it slow but you're consistent, you're gonna build up your endurance and you're gonna build up your speed. And like before you know it, it just feels so good after every run that you do, um, that you run a distance like you haven't had like you didn't think you could before. It just also makes you feel so confident and feel so good, and you'll think that like, oh, if I just did that distance, I could do more. So I think that was how my mindset grew when I like trained for my first like half marathon or like marathon. So I think for everyone, yeah, just take it easy first. And you also don't want to like hurt yourself by rushing everything too. Yeah.
Yeah, build up like nice and slow and steady, but like you can everybody has to start from somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to immediately be able to run 10 miles.
Yeah,
Might be
yeah.
able to like run a half mile consistently and straight and then
Yeah.
try to run like 3/4 of a mile. You
Yeah.
know, those like small goals. I always kind of say this to like my followers and listeners, like small goals and small steps are going to get you to your big goals
Yeah.
faster. if you just kind of are able to pace yourself and see the things that feel more attainable to you leading up
Yeah.
to the big, big goal that you might not
Yeah.
feel super confident in yet.
Yeah.
I want to touch like on your home life and how you grew up. I feel like people
Oh,
know you as like this like fun drunk runner girl, but I think like you should have a chance to explain like your
yeah.
background and like how you got into this and how that all kind of came together. So give us kind of like a little true Hollywood story of like what your childhood and growing up looked like for you.
Yeah. So I think I introduced a little bit of it during when I was running with Kate in our interview, but I'm originally from Taiwan, so I was born there, but for my parents' jobs, my family moved to China when I was like a year old. So I mainly grew up in China, Beijing and Shanghai. And I have a twin brother actually who
Do you?
yeah,
Oh
a
my
twin brother.
God.
He's also in California right now, but it's funny because we're complete different people, like interest, personality, looks, everything is like different. But yeah, I grew up with him, and it's funny because um he's the one who's like very artistic, creative. He loves music, he sings and stuff. But then yeah, growing up, I've always been the one who like wants to be outside, like running, playing basketball, doing the sports. And so yeah, that was basically our entire lives growing up. And I first started running actually or doing sports in middle school when when one of my best friends actually transferred to a rival school, and we were like, oh, the only way we'll like be able to see each other again is if we both play sports and we compete against each
Oh
other.
my gosh.
Yeah. So that's why I started doing sports, and I started running track um and yeah, at that time I was just sprinting. And actually when I came to college, so I graduated high school in Shanghai. And then I moved to LA for college to go to USC. So I've been in LA ever since I came here. Um but once I got into college actually, I think there were so many things going on, like you have to make friends, join all sorts of like clubs, and I kind of fell off of my like fitness stuff that I've been pretty much doing my entire life. So it was kind of a rough period of adjustment, but also like growing as a young adult and everything, right? So it was a little bit tough, but I had a lot of fun like partying, getting know people, and that's also where I met most of my like closest friends right now. Like the two girls we went out with, we all met during college. The people I ran the marathon with, all college friends. And
Yeah,
so
they're great. They were so fun.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I met my favorite people all there, and basically when COVID hit, that was my junior year of college. And when COVID hit, my brother and I both went back home to Asia, like Taiwan and yeah, Taiwan and Shanghai, to do our senior year. So we were actually, it was crazy. We were doing school remotely, like in the middle. We would be waking up in the middle of the night to attend class for an entire year.
Oh my God, because of the time difference. So
Yeah.
you had to wake up in the middle of the night to do that?
Some of the classes I didn't, but I think I prefer doing that because I'm not gonna watch lectures alone on my own time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was a little bit rough, but because of that, I think I wanted an excuse to like be outside, or else I'd just be in my room like all day, all night. Yeah, I wanted an excuse to go outside. So I started going to the gym again. I started like running again. And that made me feel like so much better. And I think I was definitely like depressed, like yeah, I was definitely depressed at one point when I was like doing when my schedule was like flipped. I was awake during the night and not being able to do anything in the day. But after I started like going out and working out again, I think everything flipped in a good way. And I felt healthier, I felt more confident, and I also started meeting more people and making friends outside of the house, you know. So after that, I was like, there's no way. I'm never gonna stop doing this. I'm gonna continue like running and working out because like it just makes me feel so good. And
Mhm.
so ever since then, I've just been yeah, I've just been addicted to to running and working out. And it's only been I think only the past like 2 years or so when I really started like going further distance wise with my running. And it's helped me I think get through a lot of stuff because running for me also is like very therapeutic. Um
It's
yeah,
it releases like a lot of chemicals that like
yeah,
really are so healthy for you and your mental health and things.
yeah,
It's definitely
yeah.
a form of meditation in a way.
Yeah, for sure. Because last year when I was actually training for my first marathon last year, I was like going through some stuff and I think at first I used it as a way to like escape or like run away from my problems because when I run, I noticed that like running was kind of the only place where I didn't think about a lot of things, right? So I run a lot and train for the marathon because I was like running away. But then after I think I healed more from whatever I was going through, um, and it came to like this year training for the marathon, it it was the experience was completely different because I felt like I started running because it made me happy and it it was like very fun to me. And especially I started running with like friends and people and it was just another way to I think catch up with people and like connect with other people, which I think is just like so amazing. Like the running community is really cool too. Um
Yeah, you guys are all like high on endorphins all the time. Of course,
yeah.
like even I mean, that's why so many people that watch like the New York City any sort of marathon content, like all I see on the internet, and I mean, I talk about this all the time. I literally like cry at the marathon every year.
Yeah.
I cry. This year I cry. Like, I always cry because it is like a beautiful thing to witness because you're the running community, you're doing something so difficult. Like you're really using your body to do something increasingly hard. And like you guys are all doing it together. And something about that, I don't know, it's something really deeply human. And like
Yeah, that gave me chills. Like even just thinking about it. Yeah.
human connection. And like we're such, I think with the way that the world feels right now, we forget that like humans are supposed to be really social beings. We thrive off of connecting with one another. And that's really why I feel my dog is making a special surprise appearance. Um,
Yeah.
but I think it's a really beautiful thing to witness. And I think that's what inspires so many other people is that the
Yeah.
people that are not runners or like marathoners like myself see the runners in your community doing something so like purely human. Like it's just the most human
Yeah.
act of yeah, I don't know. You're like using your body to do something difficult. That sounds so
Yeah.
stupid, but like watching it as an outsider is like really inspirational.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually why. So the my friends who ran the marathon with me, one of them I think was inspired because she watched the marathon last year. And she was saying that oh, she like stepped out of the house, she was on the sidelines, right? And she's just like watching these people and she started like crying. And so she really wanted to run it this year and which is why yeah, we ran it together. Yeah.
I know I feel like one of these years I'm gonna make the switch from like sideline
Yeah.
cheerleader to a marathoner. But
Mhm.
I also I love being on the sidelines. Like it's
Yeah.
just it makes me like I loved having my mom be a part of it. And it was so
Yeah, she was so fun.
my mom is she's gonna be a guest on the podcast too. She's a
Oh my
character.
God. Yeah.
Um she used to like run marathons. So
Oh, really? Oh,
she
wow.
she did the Long Island Marathon, or the Long Island Half Marathon or marathon or something.
Uh-huh.
My mom has always been very, big into like she used to be like a bodybuilder and like
Uh-huh.
she's like I am
Wow,
a
that's awesome.
is the ultimate like
Yeah.
woman. But I asked her to like come this year because I just knew I was like, Mom, I just want you to feel this energy I feel.
Yeah.
And yeah, after we left that day, she was just like, that girl that came and grabbed the Milky Way. And I was like, oh, I hope she's doing well. And then
Oh my God.
I told her that like we were gonna meet up, and she was like, oh, isn't that fabulous?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Which
I
brings me to
love
the
it. Yeah.
next like question for you.
Yeah.
What does your family feel about this? Your parents, like I know your brother probably knows all about this, but like, do your
Yeah.
parents have an opinion on like kind of what's been happening with all of this attention or just you running in general?
Yeah. So I think so I've been running a lot the past like year or two, right? And I think my parents are always kind of like, "Oh, like be careful. You're doing too much. Get some more rest." Like they support it for sure, but I think as parents they're also kind of worried because um especially because they don't really do long distance running or anything, or they haven't. So I don't think they really understand like the training and everything. So sometimes they just think I'm doing too much. And I'm always telling them like it's okay, it's okay. Like I'm taking it easy and stuff. And so it was funny because my mom's been so supportive. Like when I ran the Chicago Marathon, um she flew all the way from Taiwan to Chicago to watch me run.
Wow,
And
that's so great.
yeah, and so I think she sees how happy it makes me. And yeah, that makes me really happy. So even though I know they worry, they definitely support it. And but what's funny is that like when this whole thing blew up and I told them, I don't think they understand how huge it was. But when it blew up, she again, as a parent, I think got a little bit worried because and I understand it because I'm like drinking a lot in these videos, right? So she was worried that other people would like follow or copy without like putting a lot of thought into it.
Like you're like inspiring people to get like
Yeah, like drunk run. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So she was a little bit worried and she was like, "Oh, you should put out a disclaimer saying, 'Oh, don't do this like regularly or something.'" And I think she might think that I do this often, but I just kept on having to tell her like I'm like I'll be smart about it. It's okay. Like I'll be fine.
oh,
Um but
that's
yeah, I think it's just like I think they think it's cool though, especially after the NPR article came out, and I think that was the first time I actually it or the public heard a little bit more about like the motivation behind what I did for the New York Marathon. I think after that came out and she saw the article, she was like, "Oh, okay, maybe this can be a positive thing, right?" Because people are being inspired to run, or like people like you were having a lot of fun doing this. And so yeah, I think they'll always be a little bit worried, but they know that like I'll be okay. And yeah, and it's like a positive thing overall, I think.
such a typical parent thing to do.
Yeah.
Like also like our parents, like their generations, it's like they don't understand like the internet.
Yeah.
And I feel like what I struggle with like my parents is it's either they take something on the internet way too
Oh,
literally
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
they don't take it literally enough. Like
Yeah.
my mom will sometime like I'll send my mom like a really crazy story and she's like, that's AI. That's not real. And I'm like, okay, mom. But then she'll see something that's very clearly like fake or satire or
Uh-huh,
like
uh-huh.
joke or sarcastic. And she'll send it to me and she'd be like, I can't believe this. I'm like,
Oh my
you're not getting
gosh.
the joke. You're not in on the joke, mom.
Yeah, that's so funny.
It's like, our parents generate, they're like learning. They're learning.
Yeah, yeah, they're learning.
But I've definitely had those conversations with my mom where she's like, I saw you post this video, same thing about like me drinking. I was like telling a story about me drinking.
Yeah.
And she was like, I can't help but think like maybe we should talk about it. I'm like, no. She's
Yeah.
yeah, their parents are always gonna kind of have this that over.
I was just like, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. But like she'll still come on TikTok and watch my videos and stuff and be supportive. Yeah.
Now, is you have a twin brother. Do you have any other
Mhm.
siblings or is it just you and your twin brother?
Just me and my twin brother, and we have a dog. Her
Oh,
name is
fun.
Nugget.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
She's also in China with my parents right now. But yeah, our dog has become our parents' like favorite child.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
these beasts behind me, I know they're blurred out right now, but like
Uh-huh.
my parents, my mom, I was sick last week. My mom comes over and she's like, I'm coming over because I have things for you. But she also bought them two dog beds. I already had dog
Oh my
beds.
gosh.
She bought them two more. She buys them all these bones, all these treats. She's like, they're all natural. It's organic. I'm like, really? Organic? You could have been you could have been feeding me like paint when I was a kid and
Yeah.
to live.
Oh
So
my gosh.
it's
Yeah.
always the dogs that like even my dad. My dad's the type of dad that's like, don't bring a dog into this house. And now they're
Oh
like
yeah.
grandchildren.
Yeah.
So I one of like my favorite like marathon stories for me as like a spectator
Hmm.
is the first time that I ever like sat down to actually watch the New York City
Uh-huh.
Marathon.
Yeah.
I was absolutely like I went from a feeling of being like moved and inspired and like crying and emotional to
Yeah.
being very quickly horrified, completely
Uh-huh.
horrified, because I had no idea how many sets of bleeding nipples that I would witness. And
Oh
the way that I was like clutching my
yeah.
own chest, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Those of you who don't know, men's nipples bleed. And it is the
Crazy.
craziest sight to see.
It's crazy. Yeah.
What for you was like something that was shocking to you about like either running a marathon or just about marathons in general that you were like, damn, I either wish I knew that before or it was just like news to you?
I think I think it's the toes thing. So, or like the toenails. Have you heard about those?
No.
So, a lot of people, when they start to run a lot, especially long distance, their toenails will fall off. Yeah. So,
Crying?
yeah. So, if you talk to runners like or marathoners, they probably experience like having having disgusting toes and feet and like black toenails. Um and yeah, luckily or thankfully I haven't experienced that yet. But I can see how that happens because your feet's like in the shoe and like taking force all the time, right?
Yeah.
And so it could it's like not only blisters, but it could make your toenails fall off.
Oh my God. Blisters are I'm the type of person where like I'd rather somebody like stab me than me
Yeah.
get like a blister or like
Yeah.
a cut in the wrong spot. That to me is my final boss. Like getting like a
Yeah.
blister on the back of my heel or like
I
anywhere. I'm
hate
like, oh,
blisters.
it's the worst. It's such a unique type of pain.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
the toenail thing is really insane to me.
Yeah. No, especially like they're ultra runners and oh my God. Like when they'll usually like take their shoes off after they finish the race
Oh, I
and
thought like during the race, I'm like, well, now we're running barefoot. Like,
actually, sometimes I think for ultra runners, when they're running really long distance, they'll even switch shoes during the race because it's like hurting too much or like the blistering or like because their toes and their feet will swell up from all the intense things it's like going through. Um, yeah,
insane.
yeah.
I also wanted to ask you, I have some like rapid fire questions.
Okay.
I usually do this segment called like highly caffeinated, where I just kind of ask you like a bunch of questions and you can just answer them however you feel.
Okay.
So, touching on like shoes, do you
Yeah.
have a specific sneaker that is like Bible to you that you like trust with your life when you marathon?
When I marathon, not not really. So I'm a Nike girl. So I grew up wearing Nikes. Um but there's so actually when I did all three of my marathons, I was wearing Nike. But
Sponsorship Nike.
I huh?
Give her
Yeah.
that sponsorship, Nike. Come
Yeah.
on, come through.
Yeah, but I've heard a lot of good things about like the other shoes too, because so the ones I wear for the New York and the Chicago Marathon, they're a pair of shoes. They're a model called Alpha Flies, Nike Alpha Flies, and they're pretty much made for like racing, like marathon racing, because they have this like carbon plate in them, which I'm not super sure of the exactly what the technology does, but it I think the energy return it gives you is like bigger, and so when you're running on it, it feels like you're like bouncing. Uh
Oh,
which feels really cool and feels really fast.
what is the
Uh
name?
um huh?
The Alpha Flies, you said?
Yeah, the Alpha Fly 3s.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's
Yeah, but if you search up carbon plated race shoes, like a lot of the brands have those. So I've been wearing those and yeah, like world records. I think world records have been broken in those. So yeah, check them out, but they're mainly for like racing. And so I really like them. But my daily trainers actually I wear New Balance because or I've always worn Nike, but I think my feet started hurting earlier this year because I needed more support or I had like a really high arch or something. So I actually went to get my feet like analyzed like at a running place, and then
wow.
they recommended me like these pair of New Balances. It's called the 1080s, and they've been like really comfortable for me because the bottom, the sole is like really thick and it has a lot of cushioning. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, see, this is an issue with like my gym shoes. I get like the the, the worst sneakers. Well, let me just get the cheap sneakers, it's fine. But no, I think I want to like look into s-
Yeah.
really help support like cardio and running.
Yeah.
I usually when I'm lifting weights, I'll use like Converse,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm like closer to the ground. But
Yeah.
those that sounds like a I'm gonna have to look into that for myself.
Yeah. Yeah, let me know if you got questions, and like I would also recommend like going to like a running store or something. A lot of times they'll do a like running or an like or feet analysis for free. So they'll like kind of tell you like based on your feet type and shape which ones might suit you. Yeah.
Feet are so fucked, girl. My feet are so ugly. My like some women are just blessed with gorgeous hands and feet. I was not. I was not. I'm one of the I God gave me a cute face. Thanks for that. In terms of hands and feet, no. I bite my nails. My toes are ugly.
It's okay. No one will see.
I tried to sell feet pictures one time.
Oh
Didn't.
no.
My dad makes fun of me for it. So, if somebody wants to do a foot analysis, they'll be like, we've analysis that your feet are a lost cause.
Oh my God.
My next question is, do you have a favorite pre-marathon ritual that you do to like get you in the zone?
Huh, do I? Let's see. Not really. I think most or I've only done three, and I think usually for me it's just being able to lay out my race day fit the night before and then get to bed really early because I know I get really excited and I'm gonna need a lot of time to be able to like fall asleep.
Mhm.
So I think that's basically it. And I used to listen to like certain music to pump me up before I start the race, but it was kind of wild, like pretty amazing because the last two marathons I did, like New York and Chicago, right? There were so many people and I think just the energy was so insane that I didn't need music at all. Like just like being able to hear people chat around like the starting line and then hear the music that's playing. I think that was like all I needed. I really don't have much of a like race day routine. But yeah, I kind of just show up and start running.
I was
Yeah,
also
the only thing I have to do though is take a shit before.
yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
wait, I saw a video recently of a woman who I think was running a marathon and she was like yelling at the camera guy. There was like
Uh-huh.
cameras in front of her and she was like, "Do not film me from behind," because she literally did herself.
Oh my. Wait, I think I might have saw that like today or yesterday. The
See, that
recent,
was
right?
another
Or
thing because I felt like so over at where I was at, which was mile 22 and a
uh,
half or something,
uh-huh.
there were porter potties there, but I felt like nobody knew. Like I felt like nobody, when the runners are running, I feel like nobody's telling them where like
Yeah.
there's porter potties in like a mile or there's, you know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah. Yeah, you don't know. It's kind of well, like you just have to if you have to go, you just have to start looking out for porta potties.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hope they start
Yeah.
leaking out. I was like, oh my God.
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
it was, there was things like that that I wonder. I'm like, what if you have to pee? Like, what if you have to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom? It's
Yeah.
a really scary thing for me. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, actually during New York, I had to pee like 1 mile in. We were on the bridge, like out of Staten Island, and I was like, oh my God, I already need a pee. And then so I was like looking for a long time, and I'm not sure when we reached the first porta potty, but but the ones at the beginning, there's always such long lines because everyone's like needing to go and like everyone's just getting to yeah, into like Brooklyn and yeah, getting off the bridge and everyone needs to go. Um so yeah, it was funny. I had to go to the bathroom like 6 times or something.
oh,
But yeah, but the first few times it was really fun because my friends and I would just be in line for the porta potty because there's so many people and we just stand there and chat with other people in line for like 10 minutes
oh my,
until we could go to the bathroom. Yeah.
oh my gosh. It's so insane. Like all of the little things that people don't know about that go into it.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. And when you're talking about also going back to your marathon day fit, like the clothes that you wear, what's something that you like look for? Because for me, I would instantly be like, I'm gonna chafe, and that is like a killer.
Oh, uh-huh.
So like worrying about chafing or like comfortability of your clothes, like what are some worries that you have that like help implement what kind of clothes you wear when you run like 26 miles?
Yeah, for me, I think um I think one thing actually, the shorts I wear, I usually that's the most important thing for me because I don't really like holding stuff when I'm running, like not even my phone usually.
Yeah.
So it has to be a pair of shorts or like bike shorts where my phone can fit in there and won't fall off or fall out when I
Or like
run.
sag your shorts down.
Yeah, yeah. So I think for me it's mainly that and um and other than that, I think I just try to wear what I'm most comfortable with like when I do the training. Like I don't really try anything new for races or like try on or buy like cute clothes especially for races. Um but but yeah, I just wear like what's most comfortable for me and what I'm like really used to, just in case, anything new like bothers me during the race.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and but for New York, it was funny because um my friends and I wanted to match. And so
You?
Yeah, so we all ended up wearing like completely like all black. But it also just happened to be like one of the things I brought that I wear on a daily basis. Yeah. Yeah.
And, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, continue.
Yeah, so I think like in future races I'd consider wearing cuter things or other newer things if my friends are trying to like match with a different outfit, like not just all black, but I would still have to just make sure that um yeah, the shorts are the right shorts for me. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, see, it's things like this where I'm like, I want to do a marathon, but I feel like if I'm chafing like a half a mile and I'm like, "Oh, take me out, coach."
Yeah.
Like,
You
but
know what though? Like throughout the race, there were many people who were handing out like Vaseline sticks. Like they knew people were gonna shave, and you can bring like the anti-shaving sticks or something, or like just Vaseline, and like there's people handing them out. So yeah, I shaved a little bit like under my arms because it was like rubbing against my body. Um, but I think sometimes during the race you don't feel it as much because of the adrenaline, and then you'll notice it after. Yeah.
so when you're running, do you ever have, so I know for the New York Marathon, you didn't really listen to any music, or did you?
Yeah. No, I didn't listen to music at all.
Do you listen to music like when you run by yourself, or are you just kind of like you raw dog the whole thing?
I do listen to music when I run by myself, but it's like random. I don't really choose specific songs or like playlists. I just go to my Spotify and shuffle my favorites, like or my liked songs, and just like whatever I listen to, like will take me through the run. Yeah.
Yes, you're not too particular with like any hype songs. It's just like whatever pops up.
Yeah, I'm really not. I used to think I needed like hype songs for maybe the hardest part of the race. But I realized when I plan for that and actually get to that point in the race, like I completely forget. Like if I'm going through it during the race, music is the last thing on my mind. Like I'm just trying to get my body through it. Yeah.
Right. I feel like recently I've kind of stopped listening to music when I'm
Uh-huh.
like running or working out, but
Yeah.
because like me as a musician, like I don't need to, I know a lot of people like to listen to a lot of like hip hop and rap when they run. I'm somebody who's like I love to listen to like a good strong like
Uh,
upbeat like ballad or just like a big song. Like I'll
yeah.
listen to like the Hamilton
Uh-huh.
Broadway soundtrack and I'm like, "Oh my God, like I'm not gonna throw away my shot," like all this like musical theater stuff. But what I've noticed is that if I'm in a groove with like a good set of songs, let's say
Yeah.
it's like two or three songs, and then like the song after that doesn't hit as hard, it like
Oh,
throws me completely off.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
out of it. I'm out of it. Now I have to go on my songs. I have to search what's like the next move, what's the next
Yeah.
vibe. So for me, I'm
Yeah.
like eating away from it because I hate that drop of
Yeah.
energy. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I just have to come up with my own energy.
Yeah, definitely. There was actually, oh, I just remembered, like when I was running my first marathon, actually, I was thinking a lot about time and like how fast I could maybe run a mile during the race. And so I would actually play Taylor Swift's All Too Well Timid version like multiple times.
Yes.
Um so that I know like oh 10 minutes has passed. I've maybe ran around a mile. And so like that I kind of used music to help me track like how fast I was running or like kind of remind me like the pace I was going at. Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
I mean, it's easier to think of it that way than to like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather think of like, oh, I'm running 2 miles. That's what, six songs, seven songs.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm running 2 miles. That's 20 minutes. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, so for All Too Well, the 10-minute version, I was like thinking, and you're really only listening to it like 30 something times and you'll be done with the marathon.
that's
Yeah.
not true. That's
Yeah.
thinking about it. That really is. Do you have any like drinks or food like
Mhm.
that help you? Like what's something that you're like, I know that I love this type of
Yeah.
like workout drink that really
Uh-huh.
gives me like a strong like push.
Yeah, it's funny because I actually don't really drink caffeine. So, um, all the drinks I do drink for my runs, they're just water or electrolytes, like Gatorade. I'm not really particular about what I drink. I just get my water and whatever electrolyte I have. It's usually either Gatorade or Liquid IV.
Mhm.
Um, because they come in like little packets and yeah, it's just very convenient. So it's either that and then either that or water. Yeah, I really don't like
You're
need
like
much.
all natural. I feel like a lot of marathoners will be like, I have to do this and I drink this amount, and then it's like these expensive drinks, and you're like, water and electrolytes. That's it
Yeah.
for me. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
like maybe I could try a little bit more, but I think that works for me. And like during the long runs, especially, I'll just have packs of gummies. Um, because a lot of people you've probably like seen or heard, a lot of people take gels, right? But I never really I think the first gel I ever took was at my first half marathon. I didn't really know what it was. I just saw people handing out like this free gel or food. And I tried it like during the race and it like fucked my stomach up. So I was like, never again. Because I wasn't used to that. Because the one I took also had caffeine in it. And it just made my heart go crazy. And so, yeah, so I started just like eating gummies. And the gummies are so good. It's just like, it's just candy, right? So yeah, that's pretty much all I eat. I just drink electrolytes, water, and eat candy during my runs.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh my gosh. Is there anything that you would want to tell like other women, like
Uh-huh.
to inspire them if they're like on the fence about, you know, doing a marathon or anything? Like what's something that you would want to say to like another woman to help be that deciding factor to do it?
Yeah, I love that. I love that question. I think just knowing that like running is for everyone, and you don't have to be fast. Like you don't have to be like you can be as fast or faster than the men, um but running is just I think a way to kind of prove to yourself how amazing your body is. Because for me, I think it helped me a lot with like body image issues. When I started running and it made me feel good about my body, I stopped thinking a lot about like how it looked, but m like more about what it could do because it made me feel so confident. It made me feel so strong, like strongest and like the fastest I've ever been. And I think it's just such a good I think running is such a good thing because it gives you it provides a lot of benefits to all different parts of your life, right? It's not just the fitness part, but also the mental health part and also the like the consistency that it gives you like in your daily routine um like fixes a lot of problems that you didn't think like would be related to running and fitness in general. So I think it's like definitely worth a try. It's helped me so much and yeah, I think running is a good thing because I've also so there's this thing one of the what this runner influencer that I follow. His name is Johnny Davies. He says this thing where like running is the opposite of drugs because you kind of feel shit while you're doing it, but you feel so good after. Whereas like drugs is the opposite thing, like the other way around,
Yeah.
right? And I really think that's true because like you're putting your body through hard shit that yeah, it's like hard shit and it's like amazing that your body can go through it and you'll come out of it like feeling super good about it.
I love what you said about like you stop thinking about how your body looks and more about what it can do.
Yeah.
Because I also think it ties into um food. Like for me,
Yeah.
at least when, going on my own like health journey,
Yeah.
I used to feel like, okay, well, I have to like cut back on this food because of the way that I want my body to look. But I'm
Mhm.
like, no, if I'm focusing on fitness and health and
Yeah.
strength first, I'm
Yeah.
not cutting back on the food for the way my body looks. I'm doing it because I feel better when I'm
Yeah.
eating out. If I've had whole foods all day and if
Yeah.
I've eaten things that I know are like really nutrient dense,
Yeah.
I work out better and I feel better after my workouts
Yeah.
versus if I were to eat like candy or something else, because it's more about like what my body can do rather than
Yeah.
like what it looks like. So
Yeah.
love that you said that because I feel like it's so important. It really comes down to how you feel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that inner strength that you end up feeling always flourishes outward. Like
Yeah.
your skin starts glowing,
Yeah.
you start smiling more, you feel more confident.
Mhm.
It really is like going on a wellness health journey, figuring out if you love to run, like it it's only ever going to lead to good things. It's never
Yeah.
gonna That's what's different about that and drugs.
Yeah.
Drugs is
Yeah.
but it's running, it's like it's only ever going to be a positive.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Because, like, I'm glad we're having this conversation because I actually don't talk about it too much, but I also, like, I used to have a pretty bad relationship with food. But once I started getting into, like, a better running and eating or fitness routine, I think I also just stopped thinking a lot about the food, right? Like, whatever, I'll put whatever makes me feel good in my body and like do whatever makes me feel good. And so which is why even now it's kind of funny because the people I who know me or spend the day with me, like my coworkers know I eat a lot. And I I like do all these I run so much, I do all these fitness stuff, but I am gonna eat whatever I want.
Mhm.
Like I'll eat like 5 pieces of cookies during lunch. I'll do whatever because I think, I mean, of course there are reasons to, I think, cut on certain things or eat healthier. But I think for me, what's worked for me is just like whatever tastes good to me, whatever makes me feel good. I don't want to restrict myself.
Right.
Um, yeah, like just whatever is like natural to me. I'm gonna eat until I'm full. I'm gonna eat whatever I want until I'm full. And like I think the working out has helped me come to that relationship with food because yeah, I'm not worrying about things that will like stop me from, what's making me happy.
And it
Yeah.
removes the guilt. Like when you
Yeah.
decide to like, I'm just gonna eat this because I simply want to, with
Yeah, yeah,
guilt,
yeah,
like there's no guilt left.
yeah,
I think that's so important to have those conversations. I think especially as women, there's always so much pressure on us to
yeah,
look a certain way. And, we've always been, I mean, I know for me at least, like when you're a young girl, there's, so many like negative influences that can really make you have bad relationships with food and bad relationships with your body. And, when you're looking up to all these women that are in the public eye that like
yeah,
rail thin. And then, like I remember Jessica Simpson wore high-waisted jeans in like 2006 and they were like, she's obese. And I look back at that picture now, I'm like, she looked great. Like
yeah,
I feel like there's so much pressure on women and it
yeah,
doesn't allow us to truly understand our bodies.
yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
a very big issue,
mhm,
and I think exercise is the quickest way to just
yeah,
figure out what's going on with your body. Earlier this year, I took my IUD out.
uh-huh,
because I was like, I feel like I can't regulate my own body and I don't like that feeling. I
Mhm.
had my IUD in for, it was like, the time was up, it was like 3 years.
Uh-huh.
But I haven't put myself back on any other like hormone because I'm like, I'm really liking, working
That's,
out and figuring
yeah,
what works for me naturally.
yeah,
And I think it's really important that women are and young girls are like encouraged to
yeah,
really like find your own relationship with your body and
yeah,
figure out what works for you in terms of exercise and working out. I've also realized that if you're not a runner or a weightlifter, there's so many other ways to keep active that don't feel like exercise if just that word freaks you out,
yeah,
like
yeah,
going hiking or something like that.
yeah,
Is there
yeah.
any activities that you have besides running that like keep you active or give you a similar feeling?
Um, it's funny because my main thing is definitely running. But I also do like lifting. Like it makes me feel so strong. I'm like I can do anything, right? Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, I'm so cool right now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but lifting and then um I also play basketball. It's really fun because I think I love team sports, right? Being able to play with other people, it's super fun and like growing up, I think like team sports is like what shaped me into, who I am today. Um and yeah, I think just those and I do like hiking too, like just being outside.
Mhm.
Um, but I think those are the main things. And then occasionally my friends and I will just go to random workout classes together, which is always fun too. I have yet to try like Pilates. I kind of want to try.
Dying to try Pilates.
Really, yeah, I really want to try.
Means I see like football players like quake when they're like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I want to do that machine.
Yeah, I want to do that too because I think knowing myself, I'm more into those like extreme contact or like big body movement sports.
Yeah.
But so I know I'm gonna struggle, but I really want to see what it's like.
I also feel, I remember for the longest time, like I would do yoga and I'm like, I don't get why people do this as a workout. Like it's not
Yeah.
like I'm just here being like, deep breaths, whatever. I went to one yoga class, one like a different yoga class.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was called like Yoga for the People on the Upper West Side. It was like a donation-based yoga class. And I was
Mhm.
like, it's nothing. It's whatever. I'm gonna spend $5. I'm just gonna do whatever. I remember like mid like
Uh-huh.
warrior pose. I look down and I'm like, what's wet? And I'm like, I'm dripping sweat.
Ugh,
Something about like just focus on this movement. And I don't know if it was like my arms were staying there in the lunge that I was in, but I was like, I've never felt, and it wasn't hot yoga, it was regular yoga. I
yeah.
was like, this is the first time that yoga like really clicked for me.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah, I'm not good at that shit either. I'm
I I think I'm like too high energy.
Yeah, me too. Me
I'm,
too.
I'm like, we're all so quiet. Like, let's do something. I like it gets
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh my God, I want to try Pilates.
Uh,
There's so many workout classes. I did like Soul Cycle one time. It was really
uh-huh.
good.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many. Have you ever thought about, or would you ever think about doing like a marathon in Asia?
Yeah, yeah, actually, because I don't know if you heard they just or the major marathons they just added Sydney as one of the major marathons.
Really?
Yeah, and they also announced that they are going to add or not going to add, but they're gonna see if or they're gonna try to consider the Shanghai Marathon as a major, which would be so cool because that's like my home, right? And I would love to be able to run that someday. So that's like definitely on my radar and I definitely want to run the Tokyo Marathon. That one seems really fun too. So definitely yeah. I think honestly I'm just like so hooked on this marathon thing. I think like take me anywhere. I'll run a marathon anywhere, every country.
are the signups all similar? Are they all kind of charity based, or is New York kind of unique or the US like unique in that sense?
Uh-uh. So there are, well, now 7 major marathons, right, including Sydney. And so it's like a group of marathons. It's Chicago, New York, Boston, Tokyo, London, Berlin, and Sydney. And so these are all like very special because as the majors, they're like very popular and very well like put on, right? And so the majority of the runners who run these marathons, there are people who qualify into it, which is crazy, right? You have to be a really fast runner to be able to qualify into these marathons. And they leave a small part of the roster for lottery. So like normal people who get in through lottery, and the chances are so low. And so the other part, yeah, the other way to get in is to fundraise and run for a charity. But the spots are also very limited. And so it's actually pretty hard to run one of these marathons, which is crazy because it just shows how many people in the world like love running and are into this. Um, but yeah, but the New York one, um, isn't particular. So the Boston one is actually the special one, or like sometimes considered the mo most prestigious major marathon because that one's actually the only one without a lottery. So like most people will have to time qualify or do a charity.
Is it the more difficult course?
Um, I it's definitely not one of the easier ones, but I think the New York might be the hardest one because there's so many like bridges and hills. Um, but that one's just I need to fact check this, but that one might be the smallest in terms of like the number of runners. So it's like hard also much harder to get in. Yeah.
Wow. So to round out the episode, what's the next one? What's the next plan? Are
Yeah,
you
so
going soon? What are you thinking?
yeah, so I actually just decided today because um because I originally wanted to run the United half, the one in New York actually in March. But that one's also I needed to go through a lottery and the results just came out and I didn't get it. So I'm planning on committing to the LA Marathon, which is on the same day.
Oh,
Um
fun.
yeah. So I'm gonna do the LA Marathon in March and that's gonna be my next
Wow.
race.
And are you going to do the LA Marathon for time? Like you're gonna try and beat a time? Or are you just gonna do it for fun? Or are you gonna drink your way through it?
I think I'll see if I think if I run with friends, if I somehow get convince my friends to run it with me, I'll definitely have fun and possibly drink through it. But if not, I think I do want to go for a time because I'm also a very competitive person, like against myself. I think most races I would want to do my best. And New York was the one that I really had to like slow myself down, or I really had to be like, oh, you can't be selfish right now. Like you can't like you're running with your friends and like I really wanted to be with them,
Yeah.
right? So so yeah, that was the first time I actually didn't try going for a time and it was so much fun. So I would like definitely do it again.
Oh my
Um
God, amazing. I am like super inspired to do a marathon because of you and your friends now. And also,
yeah, you
oh
should.
my God, yes, because your friends were like, Diana, do it with us. And I was like, I'm not like, I don't know if I'm gonna like be fast. And they're like, we're not fast. And I was like,
Yeah,
but
Catherine, who was there that night, she hasn't run one yet either. So, yeah. So, I think after this, she also really wants to run New York.
yeah,
Yeah. So we need to do it together. We do need to do it together.
1000% like 1000% I am committing to running a marathon with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. It would be the best, funnest time.
No.
I also
Yeah.
it's like I want to like test my body and
Yeah.
I do love running, but I'm also I mean, the New York Marathon is obviously like a dream, but I don't care where I'm
Yeah.
at. I just like I love this city, so the idea of like running the New York Marathon would like be amazing.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
definitely gonna run a marathon. I don't care where it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do
I
it.
am so down. I'm so down. I would be so nervous, but I'm really so down.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It'll happen. We'll make it happen.
Oh my God, this is so great. Anything else that you want to end with or say to listeners or promote yourself? I don't know.
Uh, well, follow me on TikTok.
Yes, please follow Justine on TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll try to. I was actually thinking, because I used to not really post, right? But I kind of want to keep it up in terms of, yeah, I just want to show people what I'm doing for my runs and maybe like where I'm going to, because a lot of the runs I do, I'll like pick a food place and like run to it. That's how like I motivate myself, right? So maybe I'll just yeah, yeah. So maybe I'll just continue doing that. So yeah, for everyone who's listening, yeah, there's gonna be a lot more running and a lot more eating to come. Yeah,
And tell
yeah.
us your TikTok handle.
It's Justine Huang underscore.
Okay,
I
amazing.
think. I
No,
think.
I would 100% watch it because I love those videos. I love when
Yeah.
somebody's like, I'm at mile one and this is like how I'm doing and how I'm feeling, or I'm at mile two and I just saw
Yeah.
a baby duck. I'm like, they're like, I think that's so fun. Um,
Yeah.
you definitely have to do that. I'm like gonna be in the comments like, go Justine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for doing this with me. I was like, I don't even know. I think when we first got in contact and
Uh-huh.
like I saw how big your page was blowing up,
Uh-huh.
I was like, my a few of my friends, they were like, "Oh my God, how cool would it be if you like got her on your podcast?" Because I really just started this like 2 months.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, she's probably gonna get like interviewed by all these big places. She's not gonna out like my podcast.
No.
So I'm so happy that you did this and I'm so grateful that you like took the time out to talk to me and talk to the listeners about like running
Yes.
and how it makes you feel and inspiring everybody. Like you have done so much like inspirational internal work for other women that I feel like and other people that I feel like you might not recognize. That's something that I've learned like through the internet is that you never know how you're affecting somebody or inspiring somebody and like there's so everybody I talk to about you is like, "Oh my God, she just made like her content is so great. Like she made me feel so good and inspired." So I want to give that affirmation to you that like
Thank
you
you.
I think are just first of all, you're like content gold, but also you're extremely inspirational and I am so happy that this happened for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, it's been really fun. Definitely still getting used to it, but yeah, this has made me really happy too and inspired.
Oh, this is
And
great.
yeah.
Did
And yeah, it's even more great that I got to meet so many people like you throughout this. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So wholesome. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Well, Justine, thank you so much.
Of
Anybody that's
course.
listening, I hope you enjoyed your coffee and your tea or a martini. Cheers.
Thank
And we
you.
will see you in the next one. Make sure you go follow Justine on TikTok and make sure you subscribe to the Patreon and listen on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you rate it because the more you rate, the more people can come and listen and hang out with us. Bye, guys.